Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well and having a great Sunday night. In tonight's update, we're going to be talking about the well below average temperatures that'll move into much of the central and basically the entire eastern US starting really midweek, and then that will amplify even further as we get into the new year, and we'll be breaking down our pattern and just seeing what we may need to watch out for as far as systems go. We'll be looking at any potential for systems to move through with that cold air around, whether that be in the southeast or even into the mid-Atlantic or northeast. And we'll just have to watch as we'll have areas that will be above average as far as precipitation and below average with temperatures, and that could definitely lead to potential snowstorms. So we'll just be breaking that down in this video, and we'll be discussing what we could see in the future and what is causing this pattern over the really entire United States, but mainly the central and eastern US. So let's go ahead and get started with tonight's update. First, starting off with our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here, and as you can see, below average temperatures are expected into much of the central and eastern United States here, and with the overlap of above average precipitation, and we'll show that, or I'll show that in just a second here. That could definitely lead to some winter weather over these areas. And then farther to our west here, we could see above average temperatures, into the western US here, and even into portions of the south central United States as well. And then we'll look at our 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here. Actually, we'll look at our precipitation outlook here. And so here we have our precipitation outlook, and as you can see, above average precipitation is expected into much of the United States, except for portions of the northeast and southwestern US here. And then this other area up here into the northeast could see below average precipitation, but the rest of the US could potentially see above average precipitation for that 6 to 10 day time period there. And then we'll look at our 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook here. And so just one area to look at for sure is the far eastern US here, and above average precipitation is expected there, and also into the north central United States up here, and then into portions of the Midwest and kind of south central US, as well as portions of the northeast and western US could see below average precipitation for that 8 to 14 day range as well. And then we'll look at our temperature outlook for this time period as well. And so again, just to keep note of that area we were just talking about a second ago, again, when you combine above average precipitation with below average temperatures here, that could definitely lead to winter weather across some of these areas, especially into portions of the mid-Atlantic and southeastern United States there. And so then looking again to our west, the western US is again expected to be above average for temperatures for that 8 to 14 day range. And then finally looking at our 3 to 4 week range here from the Climate Prediction Center here. And so again, for that 3 to 4 week period, below average temperatures are expected for this time period here for that 3 to 4 week range into much of the central and the eastern US, and the highest potential would be into the southeastern US. And then again, above average temperatures are expected into the western US for that 3 to 4 week range there. And then finally, we'll look at our precipitation outlook for that 3 to 4 week range. And so once again, above average precipitation is expected for that 3 to 4 week range there. And so again, as I've been saying, when you combine extremely cold air or well below average temperatures for that time period with above average precipitation, I mean, that's basically a signal for winter weather for that 3 to 4 week range. And that would basically start as we have that second push of cold air, and we'll show that in just a second. But our first kind of push of cold air down into these areas would be kind of the start of this pattern, where we could see a more active kind of jet stream to the south, southerly jet, and you'll have those systems moving through with that cold air there, and that could again potentially lead to winter weather across those areas. And also above average precipitation is expected into the northwestern U.S. for that 3 to 4 week range, and below average precipitation is expected into parts of the Midwest and South Central United States, and also the southwestern United States, again for that 3 to 4 week range. And now switching to the weather models, and first we'll be starting off with the latest EPS ensemble here, and this will show our temperatures or temperature anomalies as we get further into December, to the last couple of days into December, and then as we get into January and the new year. So as you can see, across much of the US here, above average temperatures are expected for the next couple of days, but as we get into Tuesday on New Year's Eve, below average temperatures are expected to finally move into portions of the northwestern US, and those will slowly start to make their way kind of to the southeast. And then if we go back here just a little bit, and if we look at New Year's Day, you could have below average temperatures finally starting to move into the southeastern US. And I think by the night of New Year's Day, that's when we could see our first look at below average temperatures into the southeastern and really into portions of the Midwestern United States. And then if we keep this going farther, those below average temperatures stay in flex just a little bit. You could see a couple of days maybe near average or a little bit above average, but still into the western US here, above average temperatures are expected again for that long time period as we get into the next couple of days and all the way throughout almost mid-month into January, the middle of January that is. And so unfortunately that'll be the case for the western US, but I'll explain further why we'll have above average temperatures in the west and below average temperatures in the east in just a little bit once we get to more of our pattern, and not just temperatures here. But again, going back to this here, and looking at the EPS ensembles, those below average temperatures begin to really move in, and you'll have below average temperatures even into the north central United States this weekend, and much of the eastern US at least 4, 5, 6, all the way to even 7, 8, 9, and 10 degrees below average. And then again up in here into the north central US, temperatures could be even 8, 9, 10, 11, even 12 degrees below average. And then I think that I'm agreeing with the EPS ensembles with this. We could have another shot of cold air finally move in the early to middle part of not this coming week, but next week, the 6th, 7th, and 8th of January. And I think this is where we're going to see our potential maybe winter weather system as this cold air moves through. And we also have to watch another system maybe to the early portion of next week on the 5th or 6th of January as well. But we'll keep this going here. And so again, below average temperatures remain into much of the central and eastern US, even as we get into the 9th, 10th, and 11th of January, and really past that is getting a little unreliable. But again, I'm just showing this just to show that below average temperatures will probably dominate much of the central and eastern US for the next next several days, actually, in the next at least week or two, even up to 3 weeks from now. And now finally looking at our overall pattern and just breaking down why we'll be seeing below average temperatures into the eastern and central US and above average temperatures in the western US. And so first looking at, or really only looking at the EPS ensemble here, and this shows our basically troughs and areas of higher and lower pressure. And so if we go to really right now tonight on Sunday, we have this trough and the system exiting the US that caused some severe weather into portions of the southern US and southeastern US, and then that'll finally move out probably by sometime tomorrow on Monday. And then we have troughing that'll move in right into, let me get my marker out here, right into this area here, and that'll move in into the central and eastern US, and then that will allow for below average temperatures to finally start to creep in to these areas. And then you'll have your cold air moving in up here from the north, and that'll move in down here farther to the south across these areas here. And so that will promote again those below average temperatures and that pretty cold air that'll finally move in. And then if we go back here, continue this out, and so again, the reason you're going to have above average temperatures into the western US for quite some time is because you're going to have troughing begin to build even further into the eastern US right here, and then you'll have ridging build into the west, and that will allow for the flow to be more kind of like this over the western US. That's a bad area, but kind of like that. And so you will have much warmer temperatures and probably some kind of more moist air than normal move into these areas. And so the flow will be more amplified, kind of like this. And so let me clear this out a little bit so y'all can see a little bit better. And so the flow will be kind of like this, and so you'll have this cold air way up into here, well up into Canada, move down, and that will allow for those cold, not cold, but it is cold air, but below average temperatures to occur across much of these areas here. And then as we go farther, you're just going to have that ridging build there, and you will not have really any source of cold air into the western US, but you'll definitely have a source of cold air into the eastern and central US with that flow coming down from Canada into these areas. And then even going further, we're going to have kind of another shot of cold air again, probably early next week. We'll have another system there potentially, and that could potentially be our winter weather system early next week, not this coming Monday, but next Monday, not tomorrow, but the Monday after tomorrow. And so on the 5th and 6th, and then again, ridging still remains into the western US. That will allow for temperatures to be above average there. And so now you'll have more of a pattern where you'll have these systems dive down like this, and they can go even up here into the mid-Atlantic, Midwest as well. Let me erase that real quick. That was not a good arrow, but same thing here. You could have systems go there, go down here, and even into these areas here. But it'll just be really something we'll have to watch as we get further into January, and we can't really pinpoint where these systems will be, but we can definitely tell that the jet stream will be pretty active, and we'll just have to watch any moisture that moves up into this cold air, and these systems will again effectively pick up that moisture and move off into these areas. But again, these systems could be well up into the mid-Atlantic, well up into the Midwest, or even to I wouldn't say the Northeast, but again into these areas right here. And so then moving past that, still you're going to have that troughing remain and even build further into the eastern US as we get into the 8th, 9th, and 10th. And again, you'll just have a classic look with the where you call it ridge west and then trough east, pretty much, where you just have, again, this is a trough to the east and ridge to the west here. And again, that flow will be around here, and those below that cold air and below average temperatures will be in effect for these areas, and that cold air will be able to dive down and just move in effectively into these areas from the higher latitudes there as we get further into January. And really that'll be our main really topic for the next couple of weeks, as we'll have that cold air there and we'll have those systems finally moving down. And so winter weather is going to be the main topic for much of the eastern US, especially into the mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and southern US, even into the southeastern US as well, just because you'll have well below average temperatures and potentially above average precipitation into these areas. So that'll definitely be something we'll have to continue to watch. And now finally looking at our operational weather models here, and first starting out with the 0Z GFS, and this is the again the latest GFS model run here. And so again we'll have that system finally move out into tomorrow, and that could still deliver some rain into portions of the northeast. And then we'll have another system right here that'll move in really Tuesday morning into portions of the Midwest, and this could actually deliver some snow to some of the areas into the Midwest and really upper into the Great Lakes region. And then portions of the upper Midwest could see just a little bit of snow, but not too much there, just a little bit right there into Iowa and as well as Nebraska there Tuesday morning, but mainly a rain event. And then that will continue on, move to the east, and then some snow could fall into the Appalachian Mountains, and then even into portions of Pennsylvania, New York State, even into New Hampshire and Vermont there, and maybe even into Maine. Actually could see a decent little snowfall event from this system that can move through really Wednesday night into early on Thursday, and then even midday Thursday could still deliver some snow into Maine as well. And then we kind of see some more just little pieces of energy, kind of like mini clipper systems, you could call them, and that could again deliver some more snow as you'll have all this cold air finally moving down farther to the south, and you'll have these little just small pieces of energy, and that could again deliver some snow into some of these areas. And that is midday Friday, even some snow showing up into the Appalachian Mountains, into West Virginia, even into eastern Kentucky, western Virginia, and that will continue. And then as you can see, we have this cold air just sagging quite a bit farther to the south, and that trend would continue further into the run here. And so if we go back to the again GFS, the 0Z GFS here, here's our system we're going to have to watch. Really the 5th and 6th, you're going to have quite a bit of snow showing up here on the GFS, the 0Z GFS that is. And if you look at the run prior to that, it's not changed a whole lot as far as Saturday night into Sunday, the 4th, 5th, and 6th period, or excuse me, the 4th and 5th period. But the period we're going to have to watch a lot is the 6th period, because the GFS has this low maturing quite a bit actually, and then that would bring some freezing rain and sleet, as well as some heavy snow across the Midwest, but mainly freezing rain and sleet across portions of the Midwest, and even into western North Carolina, Kentucky, southern Indiana, maybe even southern Ohio, maybe central southern Illinois there. And then that would continue to move that system farther to the east, and would again bring some heavy snow into the Great Lakes region, and maybe some areas of the northeast, but mainly the heaviest snow would be concentrated into the Midwest and Great Lakes region, really Sunday into Monday of next week. And that would again be through that 4th, 5th, and 6th period of January. And then that system would finally move out, and then the GFS shows another little system here farther to the south. There's not a lot of cold air in there, and so that cold air is just mainly to the west of that, so it would not bring a lot of snow to those areas, just because that cold air hasn't met up properly with that energy, and so that would just be mainly a rain event. But then after that, everything is really just up in the air, because there's quite a bit of uncertainty after this next system right here. If we go back right here, this is a system that we're just gonna have to continue to watch, because it has been changing quite a bit over the past couple of days, and we really won't know for sure where the system might go or how it might look until maybe even midweek or later this week. So we'll have to keep an eye on this system, and we'll look at the other weather model in just a sec, or other weather models, excuse me, not just one, but we'll look at a couple here. But again, that'll be the main concern for the next couple of days, and throughout really the most of this week. And now switching to the European weather model here. And so if we go forward here, same thing here, our big system that delivered the severe weather threat towards the, or for the portions of the deep south and southeast. That system moves out right here. And then we have our other system that will deliver rain and some snow into the Great Lakes region, mainly rain with that, and even some snow into Maine and New York State, as well as Pennsylvania, Ohio, maybe even West Virginia, Maryland there. And then that would again exit sometime maybe late Thursday into early on Friday. And then again, we have our other system that would pop up here. And then this system would deliver a snow event actually for portions of the kind of the mid to upper south, mainly the upper south, into Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, North Carolina, Virginia here. And so this is trended on the European. The system is trended farther to the south, but again, it's just pretty far out. Not pretty far, but it's far enough out to where this will and probably will could and probably will change, over the next couple of runs. And we've seen that with the GFS as well. The 0Z GFS has trended farther to the north because the past couple of runs on the GFS weather model, it has actually trended farther to the south. And then the 0Z run was actually the first run that finally trended it back to the north, where it ended up starting at. And so again, that would deliver a quick snow event to the portions of the upper south and mid-Atlantic there, maybe Monday morning, and really exit Monday afternoon. But again, this is just going to be a system we'll have to continue to watch because it's going to change a lot over the next couple of days. And this system is going to be this pattern is going to be very complex after that system moves out. And it'll just be a lot to really take in as we get that system to finally move out. And then next we'll look at the Canadian weather model here, and we'll also look at the European AI weather model. And so same thing here, severe weather system moves out, then we have other low pressure moves in, some snow with that, mostly rain into the northeast, shows quite a bit, not quite a bit, but a little bit more snow for the northeast there. And then we would have that cold air again moving forward to the south. Then we go to this weekend. Then we go to next Sunday. Nothing really shows up. And then finally Monday morning, it shows a system moving into the south central United States. That would be a freezing rain and sleet event for portions of the mid to deep south actually there. And then that would have some snow into Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, Kentucky there, into portions of the Carolinas, Georgia as well, a little bit of Virginia there, and that would finally move out. And the Canadian model does not have that system strong at all, and it barely has that even meeting up with that cold air. And again, it's just not a strong system overall. So we have a lot of variability with these models here, and not any particular model has really agreed with another model. So again, we just have a lot to figure out with this system. And then finally we'll look at the European AI model here. And again, this is not going to show snow, just the precipitation rate, so it won't have snow showing up, it won't have that blue color showing up, but we can still look at it here. Again, that system low pressure moves in, maybe some snow into these areas here. As you can see, that blue line indicating that freezing temperature gradient there. And so you probably would have some snow into these areas here, really into the Great Lakes region and portions of the Northeast, and that system would move out. And then we get this going here further into the run, and then that would have that low pressure situated into Kentucky, Virginia, northwestern North Carolina on that, and then that would deliver mostly snow to the Midwest and Great Lakes region, into the Ohio Valley as well, and that would be rain mostly to the south of that low pressure. Then if we go back here, this would be mainly snow into the central U.S. and then go a little bit further here, again mostly snow into the Midwest, and again probably would be mostly snow way up here into the Dakotas and Montana and Wyoming as well. And then that would finally move off again sometime Monday. So timing as well is also not consistent between these models. I mean, you have some models showing this as late as Tuesday morning, some showing it as early as maybe even Sunday. So again, I know I said this a lot, but there's a lot to figure out with the system, and we can't do a whole lot with predicting the pattern after that. But really, that's the main things we're going to have to watch, and we'll continue to keep watching these systems, and I'll continue to make updates and keep y'all updated on this. But really, that'll be about it for the weather models for tonight. So that'll be it for tonight's update. I do really appreciate all of y'all watching and all of y'all who clicked on the video. I've tried to keep this video pace quicker than normal, and I'll try to improve on my forecasting a little bit. I apologize for getting slipped up a couple of times there. On my words, it's just a lot to cover. Even though we don't have a lot of active systems ongoing, it's just a lot we'll have to cover the next couple of weeks, and really January as a whole will be quite active as far as winter weather goes. But again, that'll be about it for tonight's update. I'll try to have another video out maybe in the middle or latter half of this week. But again, I appreciate all of y'all, and I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's Sunday night, or I hope y'all have a great Monday.